خلينا ونحمد الله عز وجل ونثني على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum, dear friends. Today, I want to share something that may change the way you look at your efforts, your work, and your life. So often we are taught to push ourselves to exhaustion, to sacrifice sleep, health, and even our peace of mind, all in the name of hard work. But the truth is, in Islam, success is not measured by how much we exhaust ourselves, but by how wisely we use the resources Allah has blessed us with, our time, our energy, our skills, and our intention. The Prophet Muhammad taught us that excellence is in balance, that reliance on Allah must accompany our effort, and that working smart, not just hard, aligns with the path of wisdom and gratitude. Today, let us reflect on how we can redirect our efforts, prioritize with intention, and trust in Allah's guidance to achieve meaningful results without burning ourselves out in the process. True productivity comes not from endless effort, but from intentional, thoughtful action aligned with purpose and trust in Allah. In today's world, there is an overwhelming emphasis on working hard, on staying busy, and on pushing ourselves to the limits. We are told and often believe that success comes from the sheer volume of hours we dedicate, the sacrifices we make, and the exhaustion we endure. Yet when we pause and reflect through the lens of faith, we recognize that busyness alone does not equate to productivity, and effort alone does not equate to blessing. Islam teaches us that every moment, every action, and every intention carries weight, and that the measure of our work is not in its quantity, but in its quality, purpose, and alignment with the divine. The Quran repeatedly reminds us that change begins within. Indeed, Allah does not change the condition of a people until they change what is in themselves. This verse calls for introspection. It asks us to examine the way we work, the way we spend our time, and the manner in which we direct our energy. Endless toil without intention is not transformation. It is often exhaustion and distraction. True productivity begins with the heart, for the heart governs intention, and intention directs energy. When our actions are rooted in sincere purpose, when our labor is conscious and thoughtful, and when we align what we do with what Allah has placed in our lives as our responsibilities and gifts, we unlock the potential for work that is not only effective, but also meaningful and blessed. Many people labor tirelessly, believing that harder work will lead to greater results, yet find themselves constantly drained, disillusioned, or feeling that their efforts are unfruitful. This is because work that is disconnected from purpose, clarity, and strategic planning often leads to busyness rather than productivity. Islam encourages reflection before action. The Prophet demonstrated this wisdom in his life through deliberate planning, consultation, and focus on priorities. He taught that the best actions are those done with intention, measured effort, and mindfulness. In this light, working smart does not signify laziness. Rather, it is an acknowledgement that Allah has given us limited resources, time, energy, intellect, and health, and that using them wisely is a form of worship. It is about channeling our efforts where they matter most, not scattering them across trivial tasks or pursuits that offer little lasting benefit. The first step in working smart is clarity of purpose. Every believer must ask, why am I doing what I am doing? Is this work in service of Allah, of family, of community, or of some fleeting worldly desire? The heart, when mindful of Allah, recognizes the importance of intention. Actions performed with sincerity and purpose carry divine reward, even if small in human perception, while actions performed without reflection may pass unnoticed by Allah and unfulfilled in effect. This awareness transforms how we approach labor. 1 hour of focused, deliberate action can accomplish more than 10 hours of scattered, haphazard effort. This is not just a principle of efficiency, it is a principle rooted in divine wisdom, showing that the blessing of work comes not from how much we do, but how consciously and sincerely we do it. To work smart, we must also embrace prioritization. Islam guides us toward balance, and one aspect of balance is knowing what is urgent versus what is important. Our lives are filled with distractions, social, professional, emotional, and it is easy to lose sight of what truly matters. By prioritizing what is most significant, we direct our energy toward tasks that have lasting impact. This is a principle that applies in every sphere: learning, career, worship, family, and personal growth. Prioritization allows us to focus, reduce waste, and ensure that our labor aligns with both worldly responsibility and spiritual accountability. The Quran emphasizes reflection and understanding. Do they not reflect upon themselves? Reflecting on our past actions, successes, and shortcomings allows us to plan with wisdom. Working smart requires this reflection before acting, understanding which methods produce results and which efforts are misaligned with purpose. Another essential element of working smart is intention coupled with action. Sincerity elevates effort. The Prophet said, "Actions are judged by intentions," a statement that profoundly reshapes how we perceive labor. It is not enough to perform tasks mechanically. Our actions must be infused with mindfulness and sincerity. The intention behind our work determines its value in the sight of Allah. When we act with consciousness, even small tasks take on immense significance, for they are no longer merely mundane duties. They become a means of drawing closer to Allah, of fulfilling our responsibilities, and of embodying excellence. This understanding transforms the approach to productivity. It becomes a spiritual exercise as much as a practical one. Working smart also entails effective planning and organization. Thoughtful planning is a reflection of both wisdom and faith. To plan is to acknowledge the gifts and resources Allah has entrusted to us, and to utilize them intentionally. Planning does not guarantee outcomes, for the ultimate results are in Allah's hands, but it ensures that our efforts are directed, deliberate, and efficient. This requires knowing our priorities, mapping our actions, and being flexible yet mindful in execution. A person who works without a plan may expend energy but achieve little. A person who plans thoughtfully aligns labor with meaningful outcomes, conserves energy, and maintains clarity of purpose. Trust in Allah is inseparable from working smart. Islam teaches us to pair effort with tawakkul, reliance upon Allah. We strive and act, yet we recognize that ultimate success comes from the divine. This reliance is not passive. It is active confidence that our sincere, thoughtful efforts, when combined with divine guidance, produce results beyond what human effort alone could achieve. Trust in Allah reduces anxiety, strengthens focus, and imbues our work with peace. When one acts with diligence, mindfulness, and intention, while placing trust in Allah, work becomes lighter, more productive, and deeply fulfilling. Efficiency, another aspect of working smart, includes understanding our strengths and limitations. We are not meant to be perfect or to excel in all things simultaneously. Islam encourages seeking knowledge, learning from others, and delegating when necessary. The Prophet consulted his companions, distributed responsibilities, and utilized collective strengths, demonstrating that working smart includes collaboration and leveraging resources. Recognizing when to ask for guidance, when to delegate, and when to focus on our core competencies is essential. Doing so prevents burnout, ensures quality output, and aligns effort with capability. Self-care is an often overlooked but critical part of working smart. Islam values balance and warns against neglecting the body and soul. Our physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being are trusts from Allah, and caring for them is a duty. Rest, nourishment, reflection, and spiritual practices are not indulgences. They are necessary for sustained, effective labor. A tired or stressed mind cannot produce excellence, regardless of hours spent. Working smart means honoring these limits, integrating rejuvenation into the rhythm of life, and recognizing that rest is not weakness, but preparation for sustained, meaningful effort. Mindfulness is a key component of working smart. When performing any task, whether simple or complex, keeping consciousness of Allah transforms work into worship. The smallest act, when done with intention, can carry immense weight. This approach also cultivates gratitude, contentment, and focus. Rather than mindlessly pushing through tasks for worldly gain alone, mindful effort aligns heart, mind, and body, producing results that are efficient, meaningful, and blessed. It prevents wasted effort, cultivates patience, and strengthens the interconnection between labor and spiritual purpose. Reflection is another cornerstone. Islam repeatedly encourages believers to pause, assess, and refine their actions. Reflection enables us to identify mistakes, understand patterns of productivity, and refine our approach. The heart, when attentive, signals when energy is misdirected or when effort is productive. By incorporating reflection into the rhythm of labor, we continuously optimize our work, ensuring that each action serves purpose and is aligned with divine guidance. Working smart also means letting go of unnecessary burdens. Not every task is ours to carry, and not every desire warrants pursuit. Islam teaches moderation and simplicity. By discerning what is essential and what is extraneous, we conserve energy, focus on what truly matters, and avoid being weighed down by unnecessary labor. This selective approach maximizes productivity and aligns effort with purpose. Patience and persistence complement working smart. Islam emphasizes perseverance in pursuit of good while trusting in Allah's timing. Smart work does not always produce immediate results, but consistent, thoughtful effort, coupled with reliance on Allah, yields outcomes far greater than frantic, haphazard labor. Patience allows the heart to remain steady, the mind to stay focused, and the effort to remain aligned with purpose. In essence, working smart integrates intention, reflection, planning, prioritization, efficiency, mindfulness, reliance on Allah, and self-care. It transforms labor from mere toil into a meaningful, spiritually enriched endeavor. The believer who works smart recognizes that blessing lies not in how many hours are spent, but in how consciously and sincerely those hours are invested. Productivity is measured not by exhaustion, but by impact, not by busyness, but by alignment with purpose and divine guidance, not by visible outcomes alone, but by the integrity and mindfulness of the work itself. This approach creates a holistic rhythm of life where work, rest, reflection, and devotion are balanced. It nurtures both worldly achievement and spiritual fulfillment. By integrating intention, strategy, and trust in Allah, labor becomes sustainable, effective, and deeply satisfying. The believer who works smart does not chase the illusion of endless activity, but cultivates meaningful, blessed, and purposeful action, achieving far more with less strain, less distraction, and greater alignment with the ultimate purpose that Allah has placed in life. True productivity comes from understanding the gifts Allah has given us, using them wisely, prioritizing meaningful tasks, reflecting before acting, and balancing effort with rest and reliance on Him. It transforms work from mere obligation to a pathway of spiritual and worldly excellence, and it empowers the believer to achieve without losing themselves in the relentless pursuit of busyness. It is an approach that honors the soul, conserves energy, and maximizes outcomes, demonstrating that hard work alone is not sufficient, but thoughtful, intentional, and spiritually aligned effort, working smart, is the path to success and fulfillment. Working smart requires prioritizing what truly matters, letting go of what distracts, and seeking knowledge and guidance before rushing into tasks. In a world that constantly pulls at our attention, it is easy to become overwhelmed by the sheer number of responsibilities, notifications, tasks, and demands placed upon us. Our minds are often cluttered, our hearts restless, and our energy spread thin across countless directions. Islam teaches us that not every task holds equal weight and not every pursuit deserves the same attention. The principle of prioritization is deeply embedded in faith, for the believer is called to act with intention, reflection, and purpose. When we pause to consider the true value of our actions, we begin to understand that effectiveness is not measured by the quantity of tasks completed, but by the significance and impact of the actions we choose to devote our time and energy to. The Quran reminds us of the importance of reflection and discernment, so set your face toward the religion inclining to truth. Adhere to the fitrah of Allah upon which He has created mankind. This verse invites believers to focus on what is aligned with their purpose, to understand what truly matters in life, and to direct attention toward actions that fulfill the divine plan. Working smart begins with this self-awareness, asking ourselves which actions bring lasting benefit, which tasks fulfill our obligations to Allah, family, and community, and which efforts are merely distractions that deplete our energy without meaningful outcome. Without this clarity, we risk scattering our efforts across countless directions, never truly achieving the goals that matter most. Prioritization is not only about distinguishing between important and trivial tasks. It is also about recognizing the difference between urgent and meaningful work. Islam teaches that not everything that demands our immediate attention is worthy of our focus. Many tasks clamor for our time and energy, yet their significance is fleeting. The believer who works smart pauses, evaluates, and selects actions that align with higher purpose. This does not mean neglecting responsibilities, but rather approaching them with wisdom, discernment, and strategy. By placing the most critical and impactful tasks at the forefront, we ensure that our labor produces meaningful results while avoiding burnout from attending to every minor demand. Letting go of distractions is another essential element of working smart. In today's environment, distractions are abundant. Social media, trivial conversations, endless notifications, and the constant noise of competing priorities. Islam emphasizes mindfulness and presence in action, encouraging believers to focus on the task at hand while maintaining awareness of their ultimate purpose. The Prophet often reminded his companions of the importance of focus and attention, demonstrating that success in both worldly and spiritual matters is tied to the ability to concentrate on what truly matters. By consciously releasing distractions and concentrating on essential tasks, we conserve energy, heighten efficiency, and achieve more meaningful outcomes. This principle applies to every area of life, from work and study to worship and family responsibilities. Seeking knowledge and guidance before action is also central to working smart. Islam values knowledge, understanding, and learning as foundational elements of success. Acting hastily without insight often leads to mistakes, wasted effort, and missed opportunities. The Quran frequently emphasizes learning, reflection, and seeking counsel, and consult them in matters. Then, when you have taken a decision, rely upon Allah. This approach encourages us to acquire knowledge, seek advice, and carefully consider our actions before proceeding. Working smart is not merely about efficiency or speed. It is about ensuring that our efforts are well-informed, purposeful, and aligned with both practical and spiritual wisdom. Knowledge provides clarity, reduces errors, and empowers us to make choices that maximize impact while minimizing unnecessary struggle. Prioritization, mindfulness, and guidance are interconnected. One cannot effectively prioritize without reflection, nor can one focus without letting go of distractions, nor can one act wisely without seeking knowledge. The believer who works smart understands this interconnectedness. Daily life is filled with countless obligations, each competing for attention. It is easy to feel pulled in all directions, yet the heart guided by faith knows that only a few actions carry eternal significance. By continuously evaluating priorities, releasing distractions, and seeking knowledge, the believer channels energy into actions that are truly valuable and spiritually rewarding. Time management is another crucial aspect of working smart. Islam teaches that time is a trust from Allah, and every moment wasted on trivialities is a moment of opportunity lost. Prioritization requires an honest assessment of how we spend our hours, ensuring that the most important tasks receive appropriate attention. This may involve setting boundaries, saying no to non-essential demands, and creating structured routines that promote focus and effectiveness. By managing time intentionally, we honor the trust Allah has placed in us, maximize productivity, and cultivate a balanced approach that nurtures both worldly success and spiritual growth. The concept of prioritization also extends to energy and emotional investment. Not every task deserves the same intensity or attention. Islam encourages moderation in all things, reminding believers that overexertion can be harmful and neglecting key responsibilities can lead to imbalance. Working smart requires discerning where to invest emotional energy, focusing on tasks that align with purpose, and releasing worry or attachment to outcomes beyond one's control. This approach conserves mental and spiritual energy, ensuring that the heart remains steady and the mind sharp for tasks that truly matter. A practical manifestation of working smart is strategic delegation. Islam recognizes the importance of utilizing available resources, including the skills and strengths of others. The Prophet demonstrated this through consultation and delegation, ensuring that tasks were completed efficiently while maintaining quality and balance. Working smart does not imply doing everything alone. It means recognizing limitations, seeking help when needed, and collaborating in a way that amplifies effectiveness while preserving focus on core responsibilities. By leveraging support, the believer can achieve more without unnecessary strain, ensuring that efforts are directed toward the most meaningful and impactful areas of life. Consistency complements prioritization and strategic planning. Islam emphasizes steady, continuous effort rather than sporadic bursts of labor. The Quran reminds us, so be patient. Indeed, the promise of Allah is truth. Consistent, thoughtful effort on prioritized tasks yields long-term results, while sporadic, unfocused work often produces fleeting outcomes. Working smart involves creating a rhythm of disciplined action, integrating reflection and learning, and steadily progressing toward meaningful goals. This steadiness fosters resilience, strengthens faith, and ensures that our labor produces sustainable impact rather than temporary or superficial results. Letting go of perfectionism is also vital in working smart. The desire to do everything flawlessly can paralyze action, drain energy, and distract from essential priorities. Islam encourages striving for excellence while recognizing human limitations and relying on Allah's guidance. Smart work balances diligence with practicality, focusing on meaningful progress rather than unattainable perfection. By releasing the burden of perfection, the believer can allocate attention and effort toward tasks that matter most, achieving greater impact and cultivating peace of mind. Reflection is an ongoing component of prioritization. Islam encourages self-assessment, evaluation of actions, and refinement of approach. Working smart is not a one-time decision, but a continuous process of discernment, adjustment, and alignment with purpose. By regularly assessing priorities, releasing distractions, and seeking knowledge, the believer ensures that efforts remain relevant, focused, and aligned with both spiritual and worldly objectives. Reflection cultivates wisdom, strengthens decision-making, and reinforces the habit of conscious, intentional action. Spiritual mindfulness reinforces prioritization. The believer who works smart maintains awareness of Allah in every decision, every task, and every effort. This consciousness elevates labor from mere activity to an act of worship, infusing even mundane tasks with meaning and purpose. It encourages ethical, thoughtful action and ensures that time, energy, and attention are invested in ways that honor divine guidance and cultivate lasting benefit. Mindfulness strengthens focus, reduces wasted effort, and fosters clarity in distinguishing what truly matters from what is trivial or distracting. Decision-making is central to working smart. Islam teaches deliberation, consultation, and reflection before acting. Quick, impulsive decisions often lead to wasted effort, mistakes, or misalignment with purpose. Working smart involves careful evaluation of options, considering potential outcomes, and making choices informed by knowledge, insight, and faith. By approaching decisions with deliberation and guidance, the believer maximizes efficiency, aligns actions with priorities, and ensures that energy is invested in tasks that matter most. The principle of intentionality permeates all aspects of working smart. Each task, no matter how small, becomes significant when performed with deliberate purpose. Prioritization ensures that energy is directed toward meaningful work. Letting go of distractions preserves focus, and seeking guidance enhances effectiveness. This holistic approach integrates faith, reflection, and practical wisdom, transforming productivity into a sustainable, balanced, and spiritually rewarding practice. In summary, working smart is deeply rooted in prioritization, discernment, and faith. It requires the believer to evaluate what truly matters, release distractions, seek knowledge and guidance, manage time and energy wisely, and act with mindfulness and intention. By consistently applying these principles, one achieves not only efficiency but also spiritual alignment, balance, and fulfillment. It nurtures resilience, cultivates clarity, and empowers the believer to accomplish meaningful, lasting outcomes without being consumed by the illusion of busyness, without succumbing to the demands of trivial tasks, and without neglecting the sacred trust of time and purpose that Allah has entrusted to each of us.